Hi everyone, I hope I find you well. Tonight it's going to be our pleasure to bring you a recording of a rehearsed reading of The Whip Hand by B.G.McCarthy. Now the play is significant because it was the first ever play performed by Carlow Little Theatre Society exactly 75 years ago to this very evening, and indeed this very hour, at the Coliseum Cinema in Carlow on the 23rd of May 1945. We've recorded the reading in Zoom, so it is rather experimental, so we'd ask you to bear with it. Tonight we're bringing you Act 1. On Sunday, tomorrow we'll bring you Act 2 and the final act at 8 o'clock on Monday. So please do sit back, relax, and we hope that you enjoy the performance.
For heaven's sake, girl, do you want to roast me out of me corner?
I can't help it, sure, Mr. Fogarty. If they come in on top of us before the kettle is boiled, the missus would kill me.
Boiled? How are you? It'll be boiled and shanna boiled before they're back. There's no step between two houses to walk this farm.
Ah, well, they're a long time gone now.
Aye, they are. I suppose Danny and Kyo's footing every inch of the 90 acres. That posh proud upstart. The seed and breed of grabbers and emergency men.
There's the kettle singing at last. My God, I've forgotten the water for the whiskey.
Water indeed. No fear Danny and Joe would water his whiskey anywhere but in his own house. Ah, the eyes are failing me since I broke my glasses.
Oh, sir, here are Mr. John and Maureen Kyo coming in the yard if you want to escape.
Me? Escape? Before my own nephew and Danny Kyo's daughter? That is likely. They'll be going into the parlour anyway.
I brought Maureen in to see you, Uncle Pod.
So I notice.
How are you, Uncle Pod? You're getting younger every day.
I suppose that must be because I am not your uncle.
Oh, you're a case, isn't he, John? My father always says you're the toughest old character the length and breadth of Ireland.
I suppose my mother and Maureen's father are inside.
They're not back yet. I'm surprised you didn't see them on your way in.
Ah, you know how it is, Uncle Pod. Mrs. Fogarty and my old fellow were surveying, like. So John and myself slipped off on our own.
Well, the parlour is empty if you want to slip off on your own once again.
Come on in, Uncle Pod.
No, thanks.
John, he's too fly to play gooseberry. I'm sure you were a terror with the girls. You could give John a tip or two, I'd say. This way, isn't it, John?
Well, here's Danny and myself at last.
Good day to you, Pod, old stock. Oh, you're looking well.
So your daughter tells me.
Oh, are they here?
Yes, inside.
I'll tell you what it is now, Danny. We'll have our little talk in here in the kitchen. Give them a chance to know each other, eh? Sit down, Danny, and I'll get you a drop of whiskey. And you too, Pod?
Oh, I'm going to have a lie down. I won't be in your way.
How could you be in our way, Pod? Oh, you're the man on the fence.
The man on the fence sees most of the game.
Oh, the same old Pod Fogarty. Oh, you could cook radish with his tongue.
Wait now, and I'll get you a drink.
And no, ma'am, no, don't bother yourself. I never drink when I'm talking business.
Well, later on so. And sure, there's not much to talk over, seeing that you like the look of the land and the farm.
On the contrary, ma'am, there's a deal to talk over. First of all, I want to get the question of ownership settled.
Yes, well, I told you before, and now I'll tell you again, that the question of ownership need give you no trouble. When my poor man, God rest him, died 11 years ago, 'twas natural that he'd leave the farm to me. Sir John was only 19 at the time, and Larry was still at school. Youngsters, that's all they were. And how could anyone know what youngsters would do? So I had to have the whip hand over them until such time as they could stand on their own feet. But 'twas an understood thing that the farm would go to John, as I've said, and I'll sign the house and land over to him when the marriage settlement is drawn up.
Well, that seems sound enough.
Don't you worry. 'Twill be as sound as old Shay the attorney can make it. And you needn't worry either about how John will manage things when the farm is his own. John is a fine farmer as any man in this country.
Well, he's learning. He's learning.
Learning? Sure, haven't you seen the place yourself? Is there anything wrong with it?
Oh, the farm is all right.
All right? The richest land in Ireland?
Well, not all of it, ma'am. That land down by the river is very wet, as you know.
Suppose it is a bit damp. We're not trying to make a meadow of it. We turn the calves out there, or the hunters. It doesn't go to waste.
Hunters indeed! That's a great mistake you always make here, to my way of thinking. If ye stuck to cows, you'd make more profit. Horses never fetch what you spend on them, and so I'll tell John.
These are small points.
And the river isn't properly banked. No wonder you have it flooding into the kitchen every year.
We have no such thing, Danny, and well you know it. But I suppose you're trying to knock something off Maureen's fortune on the strength of it.
I don't need to count the pounds of me daughter's fortune, Mrs. Fogarty. She could walk into any place with what I give her.
She's a fine girl, certainly, but there's many a fine girl in this neighbourhood to choose from. There's more than one girl with a grand fortune ready to crook a finger at John.
I've no doubt. And more than one girl without a grand fortune too, I believe.
And what might that be now you have in mind?
Well, there's a nice little girl beyond at the crossroads. I hear that she's in and out of here at all hours of the day.
Well, is it Bernie Regan that's stuck in your throat? Really, I never heard such back nonsense. Bernie Regan, the daughter of my own first cousin, Julia Moriarty, God rest her soul. Sure, you ought to know, since you know so much, that I've watched over that little girl ever since her mother died and left her, and she hardly walking to be reared by her poor, useless bookworm of a father.
But I know all that, but she's quite a big girl now. It's a wonder that you, with two grown sons, never saw any danger in giving her the run of the house.
Did you see that nice-looking young man who waved at me when we're going past the excavations in the moat field? The one who was telling the others what to do?
I did.
It wouldn't surprise me if he and Bernie made a match of it. He drops in and out in here nearly every day for one thing or another, and I notice that he always seems to be about if Bernie comes.
Is that so?
So much for your notion of my sons being in danger.
Why, sure, I was only joking, ma'am. It isn't likely the daughter of daft Andy Regan will get her foot in here, seeing you're bent on a stiff fortune. My God, 'tis a disgrace to see the way that old lunatic is letting one of the finest farms in the parish slip through his fingers. Himself and his book and his scribbling and his crack-brain notions. Oh, no wonder that his unfortunate daughter hasn't a penny to her name.
For goodness sake, my sons are both like brothers to Bernie. John is a rock of sense, and Larry's at college all the time.
Yes, Larry. That's another point I wanted to bring up.
Well now, Danny, I don't see what Larry comes into this match at all. He's not even in the house, except during the holidays.
I was looking at the results of the third medical examination in the Cork Examiner a few days ago.
Were you?
I was, but I didn't see Larry's name in the list.
I didn't go for the exam this time. He had a poisoned finger that week.
Oh, that was a great pity. And what happened to him last year?
Oh, Larry was very unfortunate last year. He passed all his subjects but one. He knew so much about one question in that paper that he'd no time left for the other questions.
Oh, do you tell me so? Too much knowledge is a dangerous thing. How many years is Larry in college now?
Oh, just a few years.
6 years, ma'am. And he's only got his second examination.
You have a great interest in Larry.
I have so great interest. I've been thinking a lot about Larry. I was talking to David Hannigan of Kilvoher last week, and he was telling me how much he spent making his son a doctor. Oh, 'twas a powerful sum of money, even though his son got through the course in record time.
Oh.
And it struck me, you know, that if it took your Larry 6 years to get his second exam, he might be qualifying for, the old age pension before he got his final.
Sure, Danny, you wouldn't understand about these things. I never heard any of your family that were priests or doctors.
Oh, maybe you didn't, but you never heard of them being in Stubbs' list either. And that's where you'll be if Larry continues his capers much longer. Now, don't interrupt me now. Don't say this in my business, all right?
It isn't.
Oh, yes, it is. Before my daughter takes her fortune into any man's farm, it is up to me to see that she's making a good bargain. This isn't a good bargain. The farm is fairly good, but there are encumbrances.
Encumbrances?
Mhm.
Encumbrances? What encumbrances? This farm wasn't bought with a bill on the bank, and we owe nobody a penny.
I'm not saying you do. There are encumbrances all the same. What about your brother-in-law, Pod, above?
What about him?
Isn't he planted here?
Pod never drew his money out of this place as he would have if he'd married. It was settled long ago when I came here that he never would draw it, and he'd always have a right to a room in the house.
Well, I see. Well, I suppose we'll have to swallow a Pod.
Your daughter ought to be able to put up with them, seeing that I had to put up with them all my life. Pod's bark is a lot worse than his bite.
Very well. Now, we come to encumbrance number 2.
And what's that?
Larry.
Larry again?
Not Larry again, but Larry first, last, and all the time. My dear Mrs. Fogarty, take it from me, once and for all, I didn't break my neck putting money in the bank to give your son a good time.
We don't need your money to make Larry a doctor.
And do you think my poor child's fortune is going to be drained away to keep Larry swanking it around the college in Cork? Oh no, not while I am here to stop it.
If your daughter never married my son, we'd finish Larry as a doctor.
I make no doubt of it. But if your son married my daughter, I'll finish Larry as a doctor, and finish it once too, right at once. This farm as it stands is worth marrying into. This farm with Larry sucking it dry isn't worth that. Larry is a sinking fund. Well, the Kyo's won't sink with him.
So, you'll break off the match on the head of Larry.
I'd be sorry to do it, ma'am, particularly as them two lovebirds inside have taken a great graft for each other. Or what am I here for but to protect my poor girl?
I'd say somehow that she'd be well able to protect herself.
Oh, there are no flies in her begar, but 'tis a father's part to settle his child in life.
'Tis a mother's part too, and what more, it was my poor father's dying wish that Larry should go to college.
Well, you can't say he hasn't been there.
Sure, what good is college if you don't finish your course? He's gone so far now, 'tisn't worth his while to turn back.
You might say that if he was halfway through, but he's not. Listen, you did your best to them, and we're sure nobody can blame you for taking him away from college when he hasn't the brains.
Brains, is it? Larry has more brains than the whole parish puts together.
What's wrong with him, so?
Sure. He's young.
His way of getting older must be a great godsend to the college. But it's a bit expensive for you to be supporting the professors' families as well as your own. High time that Larry did some work for a change.
Sure, all this talk of Larry never did anything. And he helping to run all them college societies. If you read the Cork Examiner so much, it's a wonder you never see his pictures in it.
I do see his picture in it, ma'am. And every time I see it, I pity you. It must be a great strain on him. All that dancing and gallivanting and posing for his photograph. It's no wonder the neighbours talk the way they do.
Because you're a begrudging lot. Well, I've no blame to Larry for being as smart as the rest of them.
I know, sure, you like him to be the life of the party, but believe me, he'll be the death of this match if he doesn't get to work.
Work? Work? Your idea of college is for a boy to keep his nose in a book? Let me tell you, 'tis a good thing for a doctor to get a sort of polish.
True for you, so long as he isn't left at the end with no qualifications but a bedside manner.
Well, John is quite enough for you anyway.
John is a steady fellow. No nonsense about him.
All right then. Think of John. Never mind about Larry.
I'm afraid, ma'am, that you weren't listening to what I was saying. I do mind about Larry. I mind about him so much that if you don't take him from college and get him a job before the end of this summer, there's no need for us to make any arrangements for John and Maureen.
A job? Oh, Danny, sure, what job could Larry get? He's fit for nothing.
6 years in college, and he's fit for nothing. Doesn't that show you what education is like in this country? Squander about £1,000 in it, and you're worse off in the end than the man with the pick and the shovel. There are jobs going on the same, if you know how to get them. And we're not short of pull between your family and mine.
What sort of job?
Well, some sort of job inspecting something. Lots of soft money to be made at that game, you know. Like Tom Carney told me the other day about some job that's going in the district. Or what was it now? I have it. They have a vacancy for an egg tester.
An egg tester? Sure, that's no kind of a job.
Here it is. It isn't what a job seems like at the start of it all, but what it would lead to. Get your foot in and you'll be rising every day.
It doesn't sound much.
Didn't you say yourself that Larry was fit for nothing?
It would be a terrible lowering to him.
Yeah, very well so. Keep him cocked up. I'm wasting my time here.
Now, Danny, sit down there, and don't be so hasty. Don't think I can't see your point. I do see it. God knows 'tis no pleasure to me to be pouring out money on Larry, and maybe 'tis true for you. Maybe I am throwing good money after bad.
Now you're talking.
But wait a minute now. Before I decide what to do with Larry, I'd like to know where we stand. You didn't say outright that you'd be prepared to give what you'd be prepared to give with Maureen. It wouldn't be less anyway than £1,000.
£1,000? I can't help it, man. 'Tis a bad case of mistaken identity. It was think you were talking to Lord Dunraven.
I know I am talking to the warmest man in the barony. You've over the poor mouth now, Dan Keogh. And we all know that £1,000 means less to you than 500 to the rest of us.
I wouldn't say I can't afford it.
You could.
But showering money around is the Amadon's way of proving himself a rich man. What others spend on showing off, I put into a piece of land or a few more cows.
Oh, there's no need for you to show off.
Exactly. And that's why I always look for the value of my money. There's nothing on your side of this match worth £1,000.
Oh, I don't agree with you.
Of course you don't.
What name figure would you put on it then?
£700.
Excuse me, Danny, excuse me, but 'tis really too funny.
I don't see the joke.
Of course you don't, but I do. Oh, 'tisn't to a dairies man's place your daughter is coming, Danny, but into a fine holding that has been ours for generation. The Fogartys have no blotted pages in their family history, believe you me.
All talk, but there's no cutting in it. We all have the same number of ancestors behind us, and as for blots, there's nothing nowadays that money won't rub out. If you want to raise my price, you won't do it on the dead Fogartys. I'm not bidding.
I see. Well, is £700 your last word?
I'll tell you what I do, right? I throw in £50 extra just to show you there's no ill will.
Make it 8.
I hear now, don't start winding me around your little finger.
£800, that's my last word, and I mean it.
I'll meet you on 800.
And it's a bargain?
Oh no, it is not a bargain unless Larry gets a job and supports himself. I won't give in on that.
I must think, Danny. I must have time to think.
How long do you want to think? Things of this kind can't be left on the long finger. Oh no, this must be settled. Today, one way or the other.
I'll give you your answer before you go. That's fair enough. Come on into the room now. You'll have a drink with your tea. And those two within, if they aren't the best of terms by now, they can't blame us.
I'm planted here, huh? The Kyo's will have to swallow me. Is that you, Larry?
Myself? Aren't you going in?
Oh, I'm not going in, are you?
Of course I am. One should never neglect one's opportunities. Life is short. Any fun, therefore, that presents itself, any opportunity of laughing one's head off, should be grasped without hesitation. Personally, I never lose a chance of listening to Maureen Keogh. A great girl, Maureen. She leaves nothing to the imagination.
A brazen stump, that's what she is.
Poor old John. I can't see him living happily ever after.
None of us are going to be living happily ever after. From now on, it'll be hell let loose around here.
I suppose so. It won't matter to me, of course, because I won't be here except during the holidays. But it will be rotten for you, I'm afraid.
The missus says for you to both go into your tea.
We'll give us a cup here on the table. It'll be too crowded inside.
Maybe you're right. We can go in afterwards.
Wait till you hear what I have to tell you, and you'll be in no hurry to meet the Kyo's, I promise you.
Why? What's up?
You wait. That'll do, girl. You'll be going to the cows now.
Sure, I'll wet the tea for you first.
We'll wet it ourselves. Drop into the parlour on your way out and tell the missus that we weren't in the kitchen.
What's it all about, Uncle Pod? Has Maureen succumbed to my charm and decided that she must have me instead of John?
God help you and your fatal charm. I hope you put enough tea into that pot. You'll need it strong.
I know you of old. You're trying to make my flesh creep. Of course, old Keogh isn't one of my admirers because I'm not a hard-working boy. But as we've nothing to do with each other anyway, it doesn't matter a damn what he thinks of me. Myself, I think him the lowest form of animal life.
Oh my God, if anyone had told me that we'd ever see the day when the son of Keogh the Grabber would ride roughshod over this family.
Look here, is there something really wrong? Are you only in a bad humour over the Keoghs?
Depends on how you look at it. Tell me, Larry, how would you like to start working?
Not in the summer. The fine weather is a bit distracting and things keep cropping up all the time.
They'll never crop up again. Listen now, what do you know about egg testing?
Do you feel all right, Uncle Pod? I'm sure your blood pressure would drive a train. Go on now like a good man and have a lie down.
Never you mind about my pressure. The pressure on you will be enough to drive you out of this house.
What?
You may not know it, but in a couple of weeks you'll be an egg tester.
I see. You're Napoleon Bonaparte and I'm the spout of the teapot.
I tell you, I heard your mother and Kyo planning it to make you an egg tester.
Pull the other leg for a change. Sure, you know I'm going back to college in October.
Oh, no, you're not.
Who the hell will stop me?
Your mother, acting as an eviction agent for Danny Kyo.
Nonsense, man. Why should I be taken from college just because John is getting married?
Because you're a sinking fund.
I'm a what?
You're a caffler. You're a gligeen. You're an encumbrance. And Danny Kyo didn't break his melt making money for you to spend swanking around the college. Maureen Kyo's fortune won't go towards keeping you playing at being a doctor.
Who wants their money? I'm being paid for out of this farm.
Oh, you were being paid for, but not any longer. If you go on draining money out of here, Maureen Kyo won't get value for her fortune, and in that case, the match is off.
But it isn't worth my while to stop now.
Kyo doesn't think so. He says that at your rate of going, you'll still be in college when your grandchildren arrive here.
But my mother, did she agree to this?
She said she'd think it over and give him his answer before he goes.
There you are, you see. If she meant to agree, she's have said so.
And if she meant to refuse, she'd have torn him limb from limb. She wants this match so much that she sat tight and kept her mouth shut when I knew she was fit to burst with rage.
And why in heaven's name are the Kyos such a catch?
Because this place isn't such a catch. When were we ever except living from hand to mouth? We're so long now pulling the devil by the tail that 'tis a wonder it doesn't come off in our hand. Maureen Kyo is an only child, and it isn't so much a question of the fortune she'll bring in now, but of all the property and money she'll fall in for later on, when the old couple die.
My God, a man would want the Bank of England to compensate for him marrying Maureen Kyo.
All true for you. But in a manner of speaking, it isn't John that's marrying her, but your mother. Women have terrible strong stomachs when it comes to marriage.
I still don't believe my mother means to take me from college. If she really intended to give in to Kyo, why didn't she say so?
And she after putting up a great show until then, huh? Telling us about your father's dying wish and all. So she had to delay it a little to save her face.
Telling ye. So you were here too and never put in a word for me.
I was not here.
But aren't you after giving me a verbatim account of the whole thing?
What?
Aren't you telling me the conversation word for word?
Certainly I am. I'd be deaf if I couldn't hear from the angle of the stairs. And anyway, I had to protect my interests.
Your interests? Are you for it also?
I'm an encumbrance like yourself, only not so expensive. The main thing about me is that I'm protected by law. 'Tis all down in black and white, in old Shay's office. I've a room in this house as long as I live.
Oh, you're all right, so.
You can't get rid of me. That's what you mean. But if you think it's going to be all right to live in the same house as that Kyo girl, oh, jeez, you've an even less sense than I thought.
Is it you? You'd be a match for anyone.
More than a match, boy. More than a match. But after a lifetime with your mother, I'm used to single combat. But from now on, that Kyo one can be turning my flank while your mother hangs on to my nose.
And to think I could have been safely qualified by now.
To think I might have had a family of my own to protect me. If only I could have married a woman without marrying her tongue. Women are like strychnine, very invigorating in small doses, but a little goes a long way.
Women. Well, I know one woman anyway that this Keogh business will hit. Here we are weeping and wailing, and neither of us saying a word about poor Bernie Regan.
Bernie Regan is a grand girl. 'Tis a pity I never met one like her in my young days. I might nearly have married her.
She hasn't a notion of what's happened here today, I bet you.
Oh, you can keep your bet. Your brother John wouldn't be man enough to tell her.
'Tis a damn shame. My mother knew that John and Bernie were great.
Yet is it your mother? She'd see a thought in your mind before you knew it was there. She's probably hurrying on this match to spike John's guns.
Hello, the pair of ye. What are you doing out here? Nora told me you have visitors.
We have Danny Keogh.
So she said. Is Mrs. Keogh here also?
Sit down, Bern, and have a cup of tea.
I will so. Why are you having tea out here instead of being inside with the quality?
Maureen Keogh is inside too.
Maureen Keogh? And where's John?
Inside too.
You mean that John and...
And Maureen Keogh, yes. The missus has it all fixed up.
Have some sugar, Bernie. Drink up your nice tea that your Uncle Larry made specially for you.
Larry is a very useful chap around the house.
That makes it such a pity that I must go forth.
What do you mean?
Listen to me, my child, and listen to me carefully, because I can't explain all this twice. John Fogarty, the half-witted hero, is about to marry the gentle Maureen Keogh.
Oh, I see.
Larry Fogarty, alias the Doctor, will no longer learn where Finbar taught. A brilliant future lies before him. If in time to come you should see a splendid-looking cut of a man peering closely at eggs and smashing them to find out if they smell, you will recognize the aforesaid Larry Fogarty in his new role of egg tester.
What on earth is he raving about, Uncle Pod?
For once, he's telling the truth.
That aged and venerable ruffian on the other side of the table escapes a sojourn in the workhouse only by virtue of a written agreement which guarantees him a room in this house for life. That same is a very doubtful blessing. I believe that before many moons he will envy me my carefree life among the hens.
Do you seriously mean that...
Look here. We haven't much time before my mother or someone pops in here. Pick up the clues as quick as you can. No more college for me, old Keogh won't have it. And my mother agrees. She'd agree to anything for the sake of this match.
Well, so would John, apparently.
Oh, never mind about that. Come on, tell us how's your father?
My father's all right. And you needn't change the subject, either of you. Because, well, if you want to know how I feel about this...
Yeah.
Oh, don't be an ass, Larry. I don't feel like crying. I feel sick. Why wasn't I told about this?
We didn't know it either.
I know you didn't. Very well. Don't you think you had a right to know?
If you lived in this house, Girdle, you wouldn't talk about rights. Rights are what you have the power to win for yourself.
Of course, I know why you weren't told. You weren't told because you might tell me. And why wasn't I to know? Since I was a child, nothing in this family was kept a secret from me. But this was. I was only to know of it when it was all settled. Not because it was not my business, but because Aunt Ellie knew it was my business.
Well, for heaven's sake, don't you think the dear John is guilty at all?
John and I, it was always an understood thing.
Oh, so you had an understanding.
Yes.
The worst thing about an understanding is that nobody understands it but the parties themselves. If they don't stand up and fight for it, nobody will acknowledge it.
Oh, you know the fighting John will do.
Very well. That's one party gone west, but there's another party left.
You mean?
I mean myself. I'll fight.
But you can't fight alone.
I could, but I don't intend to. What about you? Are you so keen on this daft job, Larry, that they're putting in for you, that you wouldn't fight to escape it?
How?
And you, Uncle Pod, are you so anxious to have Maureen Keogh here that you won't raise a finger against it?
I'd fight on me back. What can I do?
Well, there are three of us then.
It would be no good the three of us tackling the missus together. Sure, she'd laugh at us.
No. I think we should have three separate plans, each of us to make our own attempt.
So a sort of guerrilla warfare.
Yes, and remember, 3-1 is good odds, even if that one is Aunt Ellie. We'll begin with you, Larry, because your plan is obvious.
Is it? Not to me, I'm afraid. I can't refuse to go for the job. I'd be thrown out.
No, you can't refuse to go for the job. But you can do everything in your power to lose it. Show you're not fit for the job. Insult your supporters.
I get you. Yes, by heaven, it's an idea.
It's not too bad an idea. Even if it fails, we'll gain time. And what would my plan be now? Let me see.
Never mind about that yet. Time enough if Larry fails.
Do you know what you're going to do?
I think so. In a general way.
Listen, Bernie, why don't you vamp John for all you're worth?
Why should I vamp him? He's mine already. But he's his mother's already. That's why he's agreed to marry Maureen Keogh. No, it's not John we have to beat. It's Aunt Ellie. Is it agreed? Are you game?
We're game.
Hello, are you playing something?
Oh, hello, Kavanagh. How's the excavating?
Not too bad. How are you, Mr. Fogarty?
Very rheumaticy. Very rheumaticy.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. And it's such nice weather too. Well, Bernie, when are you going to come and see what I'm doing?
I've seen already. You're making nice mud pies and having a lovely time.
Listen to the girl, and she talking to an archaeologist, mind you. Honestly, though, look, I know it isn't very exciting just now, but we've got to go slowly because we must measure and plan to scale as we go. But you wait until you get down to the cyst, to the burial chamber. I mean, will you come then?
Of course, I'd love to. But I might as well tell you, I don't know anything about archaeology.
That's fine. There's nothing a man likes better than explaining things to a girl who doesn't know enough to contradict him. Blue stockings freeze the marrow in my bones. I say, if you're going home now, I'll run you there in the old Ford. Where's Mrs. Fogarty, by the way?
I'd actually be delighted to get a lift home. Aunt Ellie is inside in the parlour. There are great doings here today, you know.
Oh, really? I hope I haven't barged in.
You haven't. My brother's match is just being made, that's all.
Good Lord, is he getting married soon?
Yes. I don't think you know the prospective bride.
Come on, we'll go all out the back.
Too late.
Bernie, I didn't know you were here. And Mr. Kavanagh, well, I'll engage. You always know where the nice girls are. Danny, here's Mr. Kavanagh that I was telling you about.
Oh, how are you? How are you? You're the man that's digging for gold in that far field.
Well, in a sense, I am, I suppose.
You won't find any, but sure, there's no harm for a Dublin man to do a bit of work. Oh, for the change. Even if there's only another way of wasting his time. But Larry, I didn't see you when it came. You're looking well.
I can't say the same for you, I'm afraid.
Hi, what's wrong with me?
Show me a minute. You're anemic, very anemic. You should swallow raw eggs.
Eggs?
Only good eggs, of course. I'll always be glad to test them for you free of charge.
You needn't have been wondering about how to break the news to him, man. He's caught wind of it already.
Come on in. What's wrong with you? Why are you so shy about it? Well, look who's here. Bernie Regan. Congratulations, Bernie. Myself and John will be getting hitched up when the harvest is in.
Oh, quick work. You have my heartiest congratulations. I hope you'll be very happy, John.
Now that we're all together and we'll drink to the health of the young couple. Wait now, before you go, I won't be a minute.
I'll see if the truck is ready.
Indeed you will not. Running away like that. Isn't he a terror? If he's as backward as this now, I don't know how he'll face the people on our honeymoon. Mr. Kavanagh, nobody is giving us an introduction, although I know you already by sight anyway. Although you're so standoffish, you haven't given me a rec. I suppose you know the women around here are all cross-eyed from trying to get off with you.
Ah, is that what happened to them? Here's someone whose eyes don't seem to be in any danger.
Don't mind her. She's a deep one.
Now, Danny, now, Maureen.
Oh, Mrs. Fogarty, I'm a total abstainer. Well, maybe just this once, so.
You'll have whiskey, Mr. Kavanagh.
Thanks very much. Best of luck and all my good wishes.
Well, now, are we all ready? Here's to the match. Here's to the future Mrs. Fogarty.
To the future Mrs. Fogarty. God bless her.